Hello, amazing people. How are you guys doing? I greet you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where we are hearing the sound of my voice from at this time. Okay. And I want to wish you all a very beautiful weekend. I know some of you are using this opportunity to rest, and but right now we're still on the Ooni of Ife stories, stories coming out of the Ooni of Ife's palace, and because this is weekend, there are stories that are coming up that I know will really, really interest you. Okay, but for today, our story or our focus is on the person you all know as Madame Metete. Yes, I'm sure you are hearing me mention this name in this way for the first time, but this story is all about her. Okay, so the palace of Ooni of Ife has finally opened up, allegedly opened up, and denies ever fixing a date of marriage with Madame Metete. You heard me well, there is no day that was speak with Madame Metete or any other person for that matter. So that is what is being alleged to have come out of the Ooni of Ife's palace at this time. Okay, so this refuter, okay, is coming in the wake of the avalanche of social media buzz on the spurious claim that our dear Kabiesi had entered into what looks like a marriage arrangement of some sort with a definite date given with his once bosom friend Metete. I mean, she's also a close confidant, okay? So that is what they are coming out to say right now. So according to the stories, which have been making the rounds in the social media, her famous week-long birthday bash, that happened that time. I'm sure the birthday thing will resonate with a lot of you, okay? So according to the story, which like I said, is making the rounds. That our famous week-long birthday bash was meant to be a tactical way of stylishly introducing her to the royal family and the Ile custom etiquette, according to the story. But and I want to say that it did look like that, to at least all of us who were observing that week-long ceremony during that period. So according to the social media speculation, the marriage to Madame Metete was meant to solidify the alliance between their two noble families and make the official years of their hidden romance, maybe public, But unfortunately, the union has not even begun before it was fraught with turmoil and strife of monumental proportions, leading to claims and counterclaims of marriage betrayal, a situation which threatened the foundation of their age-long friendship and trust, and by extension, the very image of the palace of Ooni of Ife, And this followed the damaging media report that Metete was going ahead to press for damages of about 1.5 million naira. Yours sincerely did a story about this that time that the news broke, okay? So this, in her submission at that time, was to cater for the mental torture she went through, the financial losses she suffered, while the purported plan was ongoing. Because we were made to understand that she had already informed her close ones, family members, friends from far and wide, regarding a purported date that was picked. And obviously, maybe she was working towards that date and she has made some purchases, and I mean, she has made a lot of investment towards that date, according to the story. That is, if this story is true, like I always say. Okay, this assertion did not create serious. This assertion did, like I said, did create serious negative image for the revered palace of Ooni of Ife, with social media going crazy, taking different positions on the matter. But how could anyone blame the media for having their position, for taking their position, on this matter, because we all saw how the birthday celebration was well choreographed, with our dear Kabiesi fully participating at almost every stage of that famous week-long birthday bash. Don't forget that, there was also the media report that the birthday bash was fully sponsored by our dear Kabiesi, okay? But that is another subject for another day, okay? So mind you, the event finale, grand finale, actually held at the famous Ojaja Arena with the equally famous music maestro, Sashino Peter, serenading both Kabiesi and Metete so profusely at that event that everyone left, everyone was left, with inescapable conclusion that Metete was indeed an incoming Olori. After all, our dear Kabiyesi himself had said it publicly that more Oloris are coming just few days before that week-long birthday bash. Okay? But in what looks like a fierce rebuttal, the palace has now, reportedly debunked the news of an agreed date. Emphasis is on an agreed date for Metete or any other woman for that matter. So they have come out to say we never picked a date for any person, whether Metete or any other person. We never did. That is what they are asserting right now. So according to the information, the palace did recognize the person of Metete as a very, a respected close friend of His Eminence, Ojaja II, Ooni of Ife, on one hand, and even with the palace. She has been an age-long friend to the palace as well. So we want to leave it at that. The report or the statement had ended. Metete, a fiery and fiercely independent woman, was said to have been greatly enraged by Ooni of Ife's failure to uphold this marital dates obligation to her. His apparent neglect after stylishly introducing her to the world, courtesy of that week-long birthday bash, and possibly what she terms his pervasive indifference, is what drove her to the brink of madness. And the whispers of dark magic and treachery began to swirl around her like a dark storm cloud. So tensions, rose within the kingdom, with Ooni of Ife finding himself facing not only external pressure, but also the betrayal of a close friend, Metete. Don't forget that during this period, a lot of bloggers went there, alleging that our dear Kabiyesi has collected money from one or two people, blah, 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 and stuff like that. It was really bad. So the kingdom suffered some sort of disrepute at that time, okay? So he knew that he must tread, our dear Kabiyesi now knows that he must tread carefully in the world of magic and mystery that they both inhabited, okay? Anything was possible in the opinion of so many of us. So rumors spread like wildfire through the kingdom, alleging that Metete was plotting the downfall of the Ooni, seeking to overthrow him and claim the throne for herself. Wow. Some said she had made paths with the dark forces that lurked in the shadows, while others claimed she was in league with the mischievous spirit that roamed the forest at night. Yeah, it was that bad. Yes, that was part of the speculation, out there in the social space, assuming without considering that all of them are actually correct. But for me, I don't want to believe in such spurious allegations, for that will be playing to the gallery. And it could, and all this could even boomerang, on her dream to being an Olori. That is assuming if all these stories, are true. Okay? After all, the palace has not come out to categorically deny her closeness to the palace. They only debunked the dates, meaning there could be an opening for the marriage to happen someday. Who knows, perhaps this media buzz is a deliberate design by Metete to create awareness before the marriage. Who knows? These things happen. Sorry, my thoughts are really running wide right now. Okay? But despite this negative media buzz, little did the Ooni know that Madame Metete's heart still held a flicker of love for him, buried beneath layers of resentment and anger. As the power struggle unfolds, and the kingdom teetered in the brink of a chaos, it will be up to the two of them. I'm talking about our dear Kabiyesi now and Metete to find a way to mend their broken marriage plans and restore sanity. For in the world where the line between reality and fantasy blurred, only love had the power to conquer all. Yes, there's nothing love cannot do. So both of them need to come together and bring back that sanity that once existed between both of them. But in conclusion, I want to say that whether this Metete drama is self-orchestrated or not, time will tell. Okay? But what do you think about this story? Please leave your comments in the comment section. I'm going to be with you soon. Bye-bye.